Asia, sexual harassment happens frequently in the life of female. According to a December 2019 survey conducted by YouGov Omnibus on 1,002 Malaysians, there are 36% of local women have experienced sexual harassment. Among all of them, only 53% of victims reported or told someone about their harassment.
你介意跟我们分享一下你被性骚扰的经过吗？
小时候去小林那的时候，就会有一个外劳，然后经过我就动一下我手。在学校的时候，就也是放学，然后第一个人坐在那边等我家人来载我咯，就有一辆摩托驾过来，然后那个人哦，他戴睫毛嘛，然后又戴口罩啊，然后前面又有穿那种 jacket 啊，我就没有理他咯。过后我就听到他一直叫我，就叫阿妹，我就看他什么事情。他就叫哦，然后嘴巴一直在讲东西，我不懂他在讲什么。那你知道他是暴露狂来的，他露他的那个给我看，我就看着他，然后头就转掉，根本就没有理他，这样子，他就快点stop摩托，快点跑掉这样子咯。是我好像没有，是好像不怕这样子，可是我那时候他走掉过后，我就开始有点心情就有点比较急呀，就有点。因为看到了嘛，就觉得那个人不会回来是什么啊，我在要怎样啊，然后我就想要过去朋友家，因为朋友家在学校对面吧。可是过后我就想还是不要去打人家了，就跑回去学校门口在那边等哦。另外一次是13、14岁这样子，我那时候是跟朋友去，然后我就拿我妈妈的裙子穿哦，就是连身短裙哦，大概到膝盖以上，可是也没有讲很短这样子嘛，然后你没有穿裤子。那种外劳啊走过啊，就是用那种很不舒服的眼神啊，一直看，然后在看我的大腿那一边，就看，就那时候很怕，我就跟我的朋友走近一点这样子哦，很恐怖的嘛。我上那个 escalator 啊，都很有安全感哦，对，所以然后那一次过后哦，我不敢再穿裙子出去了。然后我妈妈就想，应该是在煮东西还是什么，然后就有一个印度人走过来，然后。在后巷那边对着我妈打飞机，那时候就是流行玩有一个交友软件叫探探嘛，然后那时候我就这样子玩哦，玩，然后就突然有一个人就是帅到了，然后我们就有聊天嘛，才聊一两天吧，他就发那种性骚扰啊约那种东西啊 ，OK， Form 3到Form 4这样子。跟一些朋友我跟另外一个女生，跟另外两个男生，就4个人站在后门那边，到课室的后门聊天。然后呢，下来会有一个男生，我就认识很久了，然后突然间动我的手，那种穿校服，他突然间这样子动，然后我就全部人就傻了，我也是傻了，我看着他，然后他对着我笑。我跟他认识很久了，他就是那种很讨厌，就那种整天弄我了，所以那时候就接替他，因为他动我他真的是动了。毕业过后，因为我毕业的时候我是被标签了，就胸很大那种，然后就有男生来就私聊我，就突然间来私聊我，就什么要不要约啊那种，我就不要啊。他就讲他想要找人 manage 这个 studio， 然后他就开始跟我讲，我觉得你其实叫我没有礼貌。因为你只是叫我的名字嘛，我觉得没有很 respect 我要你叫我 master。他就讲你一天要讲12次，然后为期12个礼拜。我是可谦，我是狗，我要100% 听你的话。before 你吃饭 ，before 你冲凉，或者是 before 你去睡觉的时候，你都告诉我。我就跟他讲，可是这些是我的自己的隐私，他就叫我 slave 啦，有。然后我就开始告诉他呀，我其实觉得我很不舒服，他就开始跟我讲，你看啊，以前你的男朋友买花给你，带你去看电影，你就很开心，你就给他你的身体，跟他跟他这样为什么我买一个那么明亮的一个未来，为什么你不能给我你的身体呢？那时候我没有出声，然后他就讲，你看啊，像我那么有能力的一个人，又那么有钱，如果你今天你要帮我上，你还是上得比较舒服。
性骚扰之后，你有做什么举动吗？就好像报警啊、告诉家人啊之类的。
我妈妈看到。
怎么办？
就叫我远离那个人。第一次我没有跟任何人讲过，我没有跟我爸爸讲过。然后第二次遇到那个暴露狂是，我跟我爸爸妈妈讲。这样子咯，那我妈妈没说问我你有怎样吗？我讲没有这样子咯。然后报警的话是没有报啦，可是过第二天的时候，学校因为不止我一个人中了嘛，那时候我才知道不止我一个人中，因为学校公布讲学校他们已经是报警了的。没有就是他一发给我了过后，我就直接 blacklist 了嘛，所以他也找不到我了嘛，也没有办法持续再来骚扰。朋友有啊，有时候聊天没聊起来，就全部人的反应都是那种很惊讶。家人那些我没有想象过，如果跟他们讲会怎样啊？挨的是他们不会理，然后就讲然后怎样那种反应，或者是会闹得很大吧？可能不会报警啊，可能会去约他出来跟他聊天那种啊。我爸爸比较保护那种。发生这种事情过后，我很沉默，我也很无助，因为我在想到底是不是我的错，但是我男朋友都告诉我这个不是我的错，因为你只是想要打工，你只是想要赚钱吧。他这样子对你是他有问题，他就想你需要报警，但是你在你有一个证据过后，你才报警会比较好。然后到拜一的时候，我就下他一个 Zoom link，然后我的朋友就快叫我 record 起来，然后我就第二天我的朋友去大学报警了。报警的时候，那些警官也是觉得很吓到啦，为什么一个有老婆有孩子的人会这样子告诉一个女孩子？然后我们去接受我们去问话咯，然后他们就讲他们会深入调查，他们会call他俩一个警告。
觉得开黄腔和黄色笑话可以算是一种性骚扰吗？
那我觉得不是，我同意这个性骚扰。尤其是那个人跟你熟没有哦，你不熟可能聊这个东西就很奇怪哦。我觉得是啦，因为如果是说我们朋友之间这样子开玩笑的话也是 OK 啦，因为毕竟我们是很熟的朋友嘛。可是如果是那种不认识的人直接来这样子对你的话，那就真的是性骚扰了。我觉得算了。如果那个人没有 consent 给你讲的话，就是你不知道那个人 OK 不 OK with 这个 joke 的话，这样这个就是 harassment。
In Malaysia, sexual harassment is a severe wrong, allowing victims to sue their harassers. The punishment of sexual harassment is up to imprisonment maximum of 10 years, or fine, or whipping.
So based on Equality and Human Rights Commission 2018, sexual harassment is basically an unwanted behavior which is sexual in nature. So which is intended to or perhaps has the effect of violating one's dignity. Not just violating one's dignity, it's also creating an environment which is offensive to the victim or creating an environment which is humiliating for the victim. Psychological impact of sexual harassment varied from person to person. Most of them actually going to experience negative psychological outcomes, for example, stress, anxiety, depression. Some of them actually experience worse kind of psychological impact. For example, they actually been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder or any other mental health disorder. First of all, perhaps because they believe that if they report the issue, the organization will not do anything, so it's basically useless. Another was some of the victims also believe that part about the incident, the perpetrators is someone who is of high authority or the perpetrators are their senior staff. They believe that these people will be protected. So it's kind of useless to report these people. Another reason because their fear of victimization. So their fear that their case might be singled out and they might be blamed because of their gender or because of their culture or because of how they dress or because of their background. The first thing that we first need to ensure that there is always a help. Okay, so first we need to guide them we need to actually guide these victims to the right help. For example, refer them to a counselor, refer them to psychologists to help them resolve their emotional issue right after the incidents. Second is psychotherapy. Psychotherapy, for instance, we have cognitive behavioral therapy, we have acceptance commitment therapy that perhaps can help this victim to feel like this is already happened to me and what should I do next, rather than ruminating about the effects of sexual harassment. For me, myself, I believe that sexual texts and sexual jokes are part of sexual harassment. If, let's say, someone who basically received a sexual text or perhaps a sexual jokes, they basically feel like they are being humiliated by the jokes, that their dignities are being violated by the jokes or the text, can be considered as sexual harassment.
Now, digital sexual harassment is also a new type of sexual harassment which emerged in these few years. According to report, the main reason of not reporting sexual harassment is humiliation, feeling alone and helpless, and fear of consequences.
就是能拉黑就拉黑咯，不要去理他们。如果是网上，那如果是 physical 的话，最好还是去报警。一直会想着的人，我觉得他们要跟人家讲，不然的话，因为这件事情而伤害到自己或者伤害到别人都不好啊。可能你觉得不要那么严重，不要报警可以啊，可是你要找人家讲啊。以后如果他们在你身边，他们看到有这种事情，他们知道你会因为这件事情而想起的话，他们可能可以保护你啊。如果你被性骚扰，不要害怕去报警，或者是不要害怕去面对这个问题，因为其实性骚扰在Malaysia law里面是一个很严重的一个罪犯来的，大家一定要勇于去面对，还有大家一定要 seek for help.
Please come forward and seek help. Help is always there. We have several anonymous hotlines, as well as we also have several 24 hours online. For example, Befrienders, Mercy Malaysia, Talian Kasih. So please come forward and seek help from these helplines. And please also remember that it is never your fault. Things happen, but for sexual harassment, it is basically never your fault.
Remember, this is not your fault. Don't be ashamed of your sorry. It can save the next victim.